All right, guys, how's it going? So, what about the contract situation of the likes of Trent Alexander-Arnold, Virgil van Dijk, and Mo Salah? What do you think? What do you think is going to happen? You know, I speak about these things every day on my streams, usually weekdays, 2 o'clock and 7 o'clock during the week. Apart from Mondays, only 7 o'clock on a Monday. But yeah, during the week, get that in your head. Yeah, 2 and 7 during the week. Saturdays, we usually have, what is it called? Saturday night streaming, where we get absolutely rat-assed. But we have a lot of streams during the week and people come along and we go over this every single day. But if you haven't got time to do that, you might miss out on my opinions. Do you know what I think? I think the first one to get announced is Trent Alexander-Arnold. I do. And it wouldn't surprise me with any of the contract situations that the club, as Rafa Benitez would say, club, for sure, that, you know, you'd expect something to be announced around the time of the transfer window closing, I think, because that's what they're like. Especially if they didn't have a great window, because it'd be like a new signing, wouldn't it? Do you remember? Do you remember a few years ago we got a bus? Do you remember that? That was our signing, wasn't it? A fucking bus. Anyway, so Trent Alexander-Arnold, I think he signs. He might fancy the opportunity of going to Real Madrid, but do Real Madrid fancy the opportunity of signing him? You'd say, wait, wouldn't you? Run your contract down, and then maybe we'll do something then. So what do you say about Trent? You let me know what you think. I've heard all the rumours, I see all the stuff that you see, and I see a lot more as well. But that's the most important one, I think. Virgil, what does he do? Does he sign for another year? Or does he just see out his contract? I don't know, but I don't see him leaving this summer. He stays. Trent stays, Virgil stays, Mo Salah stays. I think all three stay this summer, right? So that's good for Arne Slot. None of these situations should ever have been allowed to happen. You know, they shouldn't be in under 2 years. Liverpool Football Club never tolerated that in the past, but this new regime, well, it's not a new regime now, but these fuckers, they don't seem to care too much about that, and they're willing to let them go sometimes. When did Edwards come in? February, was it?
He doesn't work for Liverpool Football Club.
These people get right on my fucking tits, you know. It's like when people say Edwards has nothing to do with the transfers now. So he brings his best mate in, right? Gets his best mate a job at Liverpool. And he's his boss, right? Edwards is the boss of Richard Hughes. And they're friends, and people really think that they don't talk on a daily basis about work or anything. Edwards is just FSG. You know, people don't realise that FSG and the role that Edwards has got includes overseeing Liverpool Football Club, because they're thick as two short planks. You know that, right? So Edwards has been there. Hughes has been there. It stinks of, like, if you were to think that nothing's happened, people would say that stinks of unprofessionalism, disorganisation. Why are you not sorting these contracts out, right? It's not the players that sit down and negotiate these things, it's their agents, right? So, yeah, if you want to give a few weeks leeway because of a tournament or the Euros or whatever, fine. But, you know, these agents have mobile phones and money talks, right? What I think is that a lot's going on to do with that stuff, but it's all to do with the right timing, you know, controlling the news. So, we'll put it this way. The transfer window opens. The day the transfer window opens, would you ever believe that the club would drop news of, say, Trent Alexander-Arnold signing a new contract? Or would you say it's more likely to happen towards the end of a window or just after? Or even before the January window? Do you know what I mean? They're clever. So expect it. Brace yourselves. Next year, you know, players can leave on a free, they can leave on a free and all that. What would you do? I asked this on the stream yesterday. If you were each of those players, what would you do? Tell me in the comments of this video. What would you do if you were them? Would you sign a new deal? Or would you think, hang on a minute, I'll be a free agent next year, I can get all that fucking money myself. What would you think? Would you sign a deal with a new manager or...
He's not a manager, he's an head coach.
Can't be done with these people. You'd be thinking, oh, there could be some disruption here. I'm not really sure I want to see that out as at that stage of my career if you're Virgil van Dijk and Mo Salah. So you might be hesitant with that. Like, let's see what fucking happens first. You know what I'm saying? Trent Alexander-Arnold could think the same thing. Oh, there's change here. You know, he's gutted that Jurgen's gone. I think if Trent was given the opportunity to go to Real Madrid, to be there with his boy, I think he'd take it, personally. But I'm not sure that opportunity is presenting itself, and here in Spain there's no suggestions of that whatsoever. But if he commits to Liverpool on a new contract, that'll make things more difficult for Real Madrid. So if he really has got his eye on that, he'd want to stall it as long as possible, wouldn't he? There's no way in a million years, if Real Madrid are interested in Trent, that there hasn't been communication about don't sign a fucking deal then. You know what I'm saying? So, it's all fun and games. I look forward to a very well managed trickle of news at the right time. That's where I think. What do you think? Let me know. All right. Please thumbs up the video if you appreciate my efforts. Doesn't mean you agree with me. Drop me a comment about all three of them players. What would you do if you were each of those players? Think it's not... They're only humans like us. What would you do? And if you were their agent, their legal advisor, what would you be saying? I know what I'd be doing, and I know what I'd be fucking saying. So let me know. And if you want to buy me a beer or a coffee, hit the love heart on this video, please, and I will give you a shout out tomorrow morning to thank you for your support. How nice is that? Yeah. Speak to you in a bit.